joined by two members of the Halifax under-20s team, Martin and Joe. And Martin, we'll start with you first. Just tell us a bit more about yourself for the viewers.
Well, I'm head of youth down here at Halifax, so I oversee the under-20s set-up. Obviously we've got Jim Gannon and Ricky Sharif coaching the team this season and doing a very good job. And our job is ultimately to try and produce some young talent to push through into Carl's first team squad.
And for those who don't know, how well are the under-20s going this season?
They're doing all right. A few games we could have done a bit better in, but we've got a pretty young squad again. We try and do that. That's the philosophy we've got here at Halifax, is go with quite a few young lads and challenge them. You know, you can go with older boys and I'm not sure they'll necessarily get a lot out of it because the competition's not that strong. Whereas when you've got 17-year-olds in the side and they're playing lads 3, 4, 5 years older than them, then that really challenges them and it helps you identify the players that have got the potential to maybe step up and go another level.
As you mentioned there, we're basically producing the future star for tomorrow. How hard is it to try and get these guys into the first team and get playing regularly for Carl Harrison's?
Well, to be honest, the structure doesn't really help us do that. I believe there needs to be a reserve grade structure and an academy structure at all clubs. Something we've been desperate to have here at Halifax, but we keep getting blocked on for some reason or other. Sometimes money and sometimes the desires of other clubs, particularly Super League. But the jump from the 20s to the first team is a really big jump, and it's difficult, unless you're really standing out and outstanding in the 20s, you're probably not going to be quite ready for the first team, and it's our judgment to make, and that's why we think there needs to be an intermediate tier for that. But having said that, Carl does have several other kids training there with the first team squad now. The lads have shown up pretty well, including Joe next to me, and their goal now is to impress in training and try and make a breakthrough. Keith Holden's done it in the last 12 months and he's holding his own at first team level, and we hope there'll be a few more in the next few months as well.
We'll get to Joe in a minute, but firstly, for the players who perhaps in the first team are injured and they drop out of the team and maybe Carl has to rely on under-20s players coming in, how do you prepare players to come in and make the step up from under-20s to the first team?
Well, we have the same structures and systems throughout the entire club, so they play the same patterns of play, they use the same calls, so in that respect there's no surprises. The biggest challenge is physically. Are they physically prepared enough to do that? And there's two aspects to that. There's youngsters are still physically developing and physically maturing, so there's an element there. And then secondly, are they used to playing at the level of intensity that is required at first team level? And that's a big challenge. That's why some of them are moving up and training with the first team to get used to that level of intensity and prepare them so that if Carl does need to call upon them, they've hopefully become accustomed to that, getting used to getting knocked around by big blokes and working at that level of intensity, and hopefully that'll stand them in good stead if they needed to play.
And finally, Martin, the under-20s played the Cumbrian side yesterday. How did they get on yesterday, and what positive will you take out of the performance?
Well, they won 30 points to 6, and the positives for these young boys are it's part of their development. It doesn't matter whether the match is won or whether the match is lost. We want to win, of course, but it's about them as individuals. Are they still developing? Are they fixing areas in the game that we've identified that they need to work on, and are they also keeping on improving areas that they're already strong at? That's the goal for each player, and that's what we take out of a match. It's how individuals perform within that rather than the full team, because with the best will in the world, the full team will not all push on and become first team players, so we've got to look at how the individuals are doing and which ones are the right ones to move forward.
And Joe, you played yesterday for the under-20s. Just tell us a bit more about yourself and the position you played and how well you've been going this season.
Yeah, I'm Joe, 19, fullback for the 20s, been through the first team all this year. And this year I've been consistent, a bit prone by injuries as well. Hopefully just getting more consistency, getting more and get shots.
As Martin mentioned, pushing players from the under-20s into the first team is a big jump. Do you think you can one day, hopefully soon, make the big jump from the 20s to the first team?
Yeah, I'm training hard and I'm getting experience to play with big boys. They are a lot stronger, a lot faster, a lot more intelligent, so there is a lot of aspects that need to improve on, but overall I think one day, once I get a shot, it's just waiting for the right time to think that I'm ready. It's obviously not too high risk, and then if I get a shot, just want to see how I go in, then you can judge how far I'm off in an actual game as opposed to training. So.
As a fullback, you've seen younger fullbacks come into the game today. They might perhaps start on the wing and then come into the fullback, into their own. Is that something that you perhaps look into, playing another position just to try and get in the first team and then make your way into your
You ain't got speed foot wing.
I ain't got speed foot wing, no, that's something I like, but I can play a few other positions, but I'd literally be willing to play anywhere if I've got a shot, just to get a bit of experience up there. if I do look comfortable, then I might get a shot where I'm most comfortable. So if that's for me, then Cal thinks he's best. That's how I do it.
Joe's played in pivots a bit, so he's more of that playmaking type player rather than a speed man. That's nice.
I was going to say, that was one of my next question. Is a fullback, the modern day fullback, that's got to have all the tools, in their armoury really to, pass the ball and move. How do you have to adapt your game to that? How do you have to adapt your game from being a defensive fullback to going and being attacking down the middle of the field?
Well, I used to play halfback anyway, so as an attacking fullback, it's pretty similar. Our fullbacks and halfbacks have a similar job in attack. And in defence, you don't really do much as long as you get yourself organised nice and early, then everything else takes care of itself. If you organise, you make your job a lot easier for yourself. If I do that right, I know that I can rely on my players to cover for me on that, so I just need to keep working on that, and then hopefully I'll get the chance to do that.
And finally, Joe, with the end of the season fastly approaching, about 7 or 6 games to go, what are your aims for the rest of the season now?
Well, it was to get a shot, but with the pressure and the risk it is at the moment from the promotion relegation next year, to be a top 2 club, it's probably just to push on and push for next season really, just to make sure that I'm looking at winning. Hopefully get a shot in the next year too, especially in pre-season. I'll probably get a shot then, and then just see how I am then. Because pre-season, obviously, it's no risk. There's nothing to it really to see where you are as a player. And I did play this pre-season, but then I got injured again. I just afterwards, so that obviously stopped any progression that I had for a few weeks. But obviously, I've been going good now. I strung a few games together, and hopefully I'll just keep going and push on.